Welcome to this special episode of ET with GOTB. Would recommend you jump over to YouTube for this one, because we're taking you to Iceland with us.
Hello and welcome to Copenhagen, where the local time here is just approaching 25 minutes past 9 in the morning.
Touchdown, Iceland. We're back to big coats and woolly hats. Very windy country, isn't it?
Very, very windy, yes. But the door didn't almost blow off this time. The last time we came, the door almost blew off, so that was a shock.
Yeah, but it didn't, that's the main thing. Okay, we are going to hit the road now for our first stop in Vik.
Yeah, we've got a few stops along the way there.
We do, and of course we'll take you along with us. Okay, I've already forgotten the name of this place. This lovely waterfall up here. One of us did the walk behind the waterfall.
I am very wet, but it was worth it. Brilliant view behind there. It's like literally within the waterfall.
Well, I did go like a bit behind it, but I didn't do the full.
But like once
whack.
you're right behind it, it like cascades over you.
Almost like a waterfall. Anyway, this is pit stop number 1 on our jaunt to Vik.
Many waterfalls as well.
Great, I'm not going behind the next one either. Given I'm dying of a cold, it doesn't sound like a great idea, but very pretty. Waterfall number 2. This one's bigger, this one's better. You can't go behind it, but you can go above it. Didn't seem like a good idea at the start. Didn't seem like a good idea in the middle. Didn't seem like a good idea coming down. But we did it! Thoughts on that, Sophie? We've just done how many steps? Do you want to go find out?
Yeah.
Because it felt like a lot. I'm going to switch you around, you can see what we just did. All of that. All of that. All the way up, all the way down.
527.
527 steps. Legs are sore. That was worth it to see a waterfall from the top. Well, I cannot pronounce this place. Tiralafakar, something along those lines. Peninsula, black sand beaches, so.
We're by the sea. I think the climb to that waterfall gave me a chest infection.
Well, we weren't starting from a great place to begin with, but this is almost our last stop before we stay, because we're actually staying on the black sand beaches just the other side of this camera. But this is incredible.
So day 2 on the GOTB Iceland trip. We're going to go horse riding, which is very, very exciting. We're going on the beach, on the black sand beach. So,
and it is a glorious sunny day. It is cool, but it is nice in the sun. Could not ask for better.
it is the best conditions we could have asked for. So.
Yes, especially in Iceland. Iceland can be windy and it can be very cold, and I can see snow, but
and it's been so long since I've been on a horse. Too long.
So I can't wait.
I'm so excited.
Sporty. It's a very nice horse. Second day here in Iceland, and we started, as you saw, on horseback on the beach, and now we are heading to the edge of a glacier.
Yes,
kind of near a glacier. We're not.
I have the right equipment.
We're not big and bad enough for that. So Just going to the edge to take a look. After all that fun down in Vik, we headed back to Reykjavik to meet up with BBC's Emma Sanders to put on some very interesting wetsuit type outfits and see if we could find some whales. So we have just finished what I think we could all agree is not only the best tour, but one of the best days of our life.
Amazing.
Whale watching. We saw...
So many.
There was almost too many whales.
I think we saw like 100 whales. Probably not, that's probably exaggeration.
No, I
but
don't think they
close
were.
to.
Yeah.
We were like, at one point we were surrounded by 6 humpback whales.
They
We
were
didn't
like
know where
under
to
the
look.
boat. It was.
Yeah, it was one of those, like they were in front, they were behind, there was 3 together, there was dolphins, there was puffins, minke whales as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And there was one that just kept breaching because he was super happy. You could actually smell them. Turns out they stink when they do that thing with the blowhole. It's really unpleasant. But
There was actually seagulls.
oh, yeah.
Less exciting.
Highlight. So that was absolutely, incredible.
The best
Amazing.
day of my life, well, when I married Rachel.
I've
Aw.
decided also that I'm not going to be a sports journalist anymore. That I'm going to become a world tour.
This
We're all
is-
retiring.
This is Emma's resignation note. So.
Bye.
Good morning. It is match day. Hopefully you can hear us. We're not wearing any mics, Soph.
No, I think we're fine.
This is our view. We've just had a lovely little, we call it breakfast.
Breakfast, yeah. Breakfast, brunch, lunch.
Coffee and a croissant on a bench with that view. 500th England game today. We've just watched the Lionesses' little tribute letters that they sent to various players that have inspired them over the years, which was very sweet. And a very poignant day, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's the FA have done an awful lot of work to try and remember the past and remember the past Lionesses as well. Obviously, we all know the history and it's a difficult one, but I think the work that they've done in recent years, in the last couple of years, to get all of like the legacy caps going, and then all of this work they've done around this sort of celebration, as it were, involving everyone from the present to the past and to way, way back.
We've had a lot of luck on this trip, particularly when it comes to the weather, when it comes to our whale watching and whatnot. Now, I hope that luck doesn't run out today, because we can't have Iceland spoiling the party, not on the 500th game. So how you reckon this one's going to go? They're a tricky customer, I think.
Hard to break down. I think it'll be much like the game, was it Nottingham? Last month or a couple of months ago. All of these months blend into one at this point. But yeah, I think it was a solid win that day. England probably should have scored more. But Iceland are hard to break down. They are, they've been in multiple Euros for a reason. They aren't an easy proposition, and they will sit in a low block, and they will have to be worked out and broken down like a puzzle. And they'll have to be wary of like Jonsdottir on the counter attack and stuff like that. But I think England should have enough to get the job done, and hopefully keep this good run of form going.
They should, absolutely. I just think a lot has been made about the Spain game. Can't forget about the other teams in the group. They've got to be beaten too.
Still got to get the job done.
Still got to get the job done. It's a nice early enough kick-off. 4:30 our time here. I'll have one eye on the Ireland game as well in the Aviva. They're playing Poland, of course, which is another big game. Hopefully a good crowd there. But the nice thing is it's going to be a game in the daylight as well. Like, sun goes down at like 9 o'clock here, so it's going to be hopefully a lovely celebratory day. Don't spoil the party, Iceland. Well, after all of that excitement, Iceland absolutely delivered in every possible way that I don't even think we could have asked for. I think we wouldn't have asked for that. We would have said, we're asking for too much if we want all of this from Iceland, but we got it all the same. Topped off with the Northern Lights as well, right at the end. The end of our trip, just as we were walking back to our hotel after dinner. But we do have to talk about the football, because at the end of the day, we are a football podcast and we need to actually talk about the game, the 500th game, Iceland against England. Lovely sunny day. Cannot pronounce the name of the stadium, so I'm not going to try. But England came away with a hard-fought 1-0 win. They ground out the win for their 500th. Would have been, we kept saying, don't spoil the parade. Don't spoil the party, Iceland. Yeah. They nearly did. But no, came away with a 1-0 win. Russo goal. Great performance from Hannah Hampton at the end. How do you summarise that?
Job done, move on. Got the 3 points.
Could you summarise a bit more for our listeners / viewers?
Yeah, it was one of those typical qualifying games that come after a big result. So I think it was probably inevitable that there'd be a bit of a dip after the game against Spain and that victory against Spain at Wembley, and coming from those surroundings to having to travel away from home, coming to a really, it's no excuse, but it was a really shocking pitch. And I guess a lot of tired legs. And I think they started the first half pretty well, England. That front three were causing problems once again, Lauren James, Lauren Hempen and Alessia Russo, creating opportunities. But I think Iceland, as we knew from the Nottingham game, they are a good side, so they can't be underestimated. But they also do, when they like to set up in a low block, and they could pack those central spaces. So many times that England would get into their box, they were just being crowded out. I think there were about 8 players in or around the box every opportunity. They were having their best time down the wide areas, and it really needed that kind of injection of pace to get that goal. It was when Iceland had stepped up a bit and Hemp won it and saw a chance to go, and she beat two Icelanders for pace, and then set up Alessia Russo for a trademark turn, a beautiful finish for our 30th England goal. But the first half, I think, was pretty good, other than the fact that they just didn't score more than one goal.
Yeah, and Leah Williamson was back for that half, which is England fans will be delighted to see. And I do think Iceland came out better in the second half, pressed higher. Their coach said he'd kind of said to them, be braver, defend from the front, push up the pitch a bit more. They put England under pressure. They had the crowd behind them, the drummers behind them. And that kind of, as the game went on and it was only 1-0, it kind of just gave them more and more confidence, it felt like. But
they have a really good record in Reykjavik, and you could see why. And the conditions were bad for both teams, but I think it suited Iceland better.
Also, Iceland didn't run as much as England, so it's going to affect.
You could just tell that. I mean, it was being watered at half. I don't know why they watered it at half time. They watered the pitch at half time. It made it into a bog. It's going to be incredibly hard on the calves when you're running a lot, and you could just tell the energy was just seeping out of England in that second half. They just never really got going, and Iceland sensed that. They sensed their opportunity, and they pushed up the pitch. They were really dangerous from set pieces, and we know that's one of England's weaker sides is the set pieces. That long throw from Jónsdóttir was causing problems every time, and I think they just had the wind in their sails, and it was for England. It was about their grit to be able to hold on in those moments, and it wasn't pretty, but they got the 3 points, and that's all that matters.
And Hannah Hampton was outstanding once again.
Yeah, 3 big point-blank saves.
Yeah, she did a really good game. I mean, it all came in the second half for her, so but arguably ensured that England got 3 points instead of 1. So it keeps them top of the group. They've won every game. They need to win their next 2 games to ensure they qualify. They play Spain first, and then they play Ukraine. But yeah, really important that they continue picking up those wins.
Yeah, they are the only League A team to be at 100% win rate. And they know that if they beat Spain in Mallorca, which is the first game of the next match stage, they've qualified for the World Cup. And they know that if they draw against Spain, they've got a really good chance, because all they need is a result against Ukraine.
You don't want to put it down to the last game, though, do you?
You don't, but if it's a draw
they just need
It's
to
not
draw
the end of
against
the world.
Ukraine.
Yeah. 500th game, of course, as we said, they kind of did all the celebrations in their 499th against Spain in Wembley. But there was some nice kind of, there was applause from the team beforehand, from the Icelandic team beforehand as well, which was nice. They did their very best to spoil the party, but ultimately England came out on top. And as you say, that is the main thing. Over to another Ligue A group, which is much more open, and that is Ireland, Poland, Netherlands and France. Ireland beating Poland in the reverse leg 1-0 after beating them 3-2 in the previous international game earlier on in the week. Big game for them at the Aviva. There was more than 18,000 turned up for it, which was great. A much more difficult game. Poland came out much more on the front foot, as to be expected, and I think Ireland did a really good job of weathering that storm and continuing to create chances of their own. They could have scored more. They had the opportunity to score more. Marissa Shiva, again, had a brilliant game, was absolutely everywhere and was the one on the end of the ball, sent in from Kira Carusa, who was back after illness and again had a superb game as well. There was a lot of kind of standout performances across the team, which is nice to see, because so often people talk about Katie McCabe and how much Ireland rely on her, and of course she is their best player, but these players are stepping up across the pitch and performing really well. Denise O'Sullivan getting player of the match.
What did Ortiz say? She scored.
This best goal she never scored.
Yeah, the best goal that she it would have been goal of the season or goal of the campaign, I think, across the board, because she juggled the ball twice and then
dinked it over
a player and then just clipped the underside of the crossbar, and you're just like, and it bounced out, and you're just like, it deserved everything leading up to it. Deserved it to be in the back of the net and ripple the back of the net. No, I think Ireland can be very, very pleased with themselves this camp. 6 points from the 2 games that they will have highlighted to win. Now, whatever happens in June, obviously they're going to go out to win those games, but whatever happens, they know they've got that third spot. So
pretty much,
I think. No, I think they have got.
Well, unless Poland win their last 2 games, which is
not going to win those last 2
a
games.
big ask. But they caused an upset against the Netherlands, getting the draw.
I think they can be very pleased. So those were the 2 games that you look at winning, and then anything else is a pretty much bonus. And if they can get the job done, then that's brilliant. But if it goes through the playoff round, then that was always expected anyway. So I think they've made progress in this.
I think Carla said that they were the first pot 4 team. So they were the team out of the 4th pot in Ligue A to win 2 games in Ligue A. So that in itself is pretty impressive.
And it's all been building up to this moment as well.
Yeah. So at the moment, Netherlands are on 8, France are on 7, Ireland are on 6, and Poland are on 1.
I think it's interesting. I think a lot of ties across the board were much less comfortable, or there were a few surprises than in Tuesday's games. And that will be down to many things. That will be down to very tired legs, especially from teams that are at the top of the tree, as it were. So Germany drawing with Austria will have come as a surprise, but a lot of their players play high quality football all year. And
France losing to the Netherlands.
It's at the time of the season.
No, they drew with the Netherlands this time around, didn't they?
But it's that time of the season. It's April. Players will, whatever they say, have one eye on this last 4 weeks of the domestic season. There's a lot to play for. There's Champions League, there's titles, there's cups, whatever. And I think that always adds a added context to this moment of time when you have an international break.
Yeah. Okay, so very quickly, elsewhere, the home nations, again, all of them were playing the same team again, which is always interesting to see, because the old cliche is that the team that lost generally tends to learn more. And I think that could kind of be said, about a lot of them. Albania 0, Wales 1. Of course, Wales had won that one 4-0, hadn't they? So obviously Albania had done their homework. Roberts getting on the goal sheet again.
Sophie Ingall's 150th as well.
Oh, fantastic. What a nice way to celebrate with a win. And then Malta 2, Northern Ireland 4. So Northern Ireland had won the previous 4-0. So again, Malta doing a little bit of homework, getting a couple of goals.
I think also home advantage plays into it. Though.
Yeah, absolutely. And then hats off to Scotland for going away to Belgium and getting a draw in Dendreef at King Power Stadium, the stadium that we've seen so many losses at, whether it be Ireland, England. I think Champions League's been not too bad. No, we lost, but we got a goal, but because of the previous leg. So always a tough place to go. So very impressive that they got that draw, and I think they still remain on top of the table now.
They do, yeah. It will come down to that final window, but then I imagine it will come down to who can shoot more goals into the back of the net against Luxembourg and I can't remember off the top of my head the other one.
So a fairly good window all round, I would say. I think home nations and Ireland can be pretty happy with the outcome at the end of the day. We decided that maybe instead of then now delving into domestic football, getting our domestic kind of League and Champions League hat back on, that maybe we'd do a podcast later in the week to look ahead to that, because of course the WSL returns and of course the Champions League semi-finals kick off this weekend as well, and we might have a little bit of extra in the episode as well, but you'll see what that is if you do tune in. And the way you can make sure you don't miss any of that is if you are subscribed across all of our platforms, wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching, or if you're following us across all of our socials. We're at Girls on the Ball on everything, and you won't miss any of our coverage that way. But hopefully you've enjoyed kind of being on the road with us in Iceland. Apologies if you chose to listen the whole way through this one. I think it definitely would have been more enjoyable to watch. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. We tried to kind of make you feel like you were on the journey with us. And we definitely saw a lot. It was definitely a fun episode to record. Chat to you soon.